I don't think I'll ever fully understand why more people don't live in this area. I mean, look at it. Maybe making a video highlighting this is not the smartest approach if I want to keep it that way. It's not just here, there's all sorts of areas like this dotted around Thailand. And I know when you see a video by someone who lives here, it doesn't mean I think I'm an expert that I know everywhere in Thailand, of course not, but I've been around a little bit and I've always sought out the less crowded areas, the less popular areas, because when you want to live somewhere, you don't want to feel like you're on holiday 24/7. You want to escape the tourists. And this area here, probably the lack of development, the lack of high rises that keeps it so pleasant. You know, if you were to go 45 minutes up the coast to Pattaya, obviously I think the amount of high rise condos, hotels, the amount of restaurants, etc. would increase maybe tenfold. But this has still got that local charm, that local feeling. There are foreigners here, but not that many. In the city behind me there, Sriracha city, there is far more development in the city. This is outside the city. It's not really a city, to be honest. It's more of a coastal town. But even the development in the city, it's nothing compared to busy areas. And I guess that keeps away not just foreigners per se, but certain demographics who are moving out to these places and looking to be in the middle of a certain kind of action. And like I say, guys, when I advocate for an area like this, I'm not actually just talking specifically about here in Sriracha. This is my home, to be honest. I want to keep this as quiet and peaceful as possible. I don't want a massive influx of foreigners coming here and making it more like places like Pattaya, certain areas of Bangkok, etc. But it's easy for me to say this now, 5 years down, videos online sometimes. How long have you been living in Thailand? Well, I've been here 3 weeks now. Jesus, 3 weeks. Been here 5 years already. When we first moved here, we ended up in On Nut. That's not an alternative area. That is basically the quieter alternative to being in somewhere like Asok. It's a nice area, but it is literally one of those areas designed to cater for foreigners. And if that's what you're looking for, then you know exactly where to look. This video doesn't really help you, but if you're looking for something a little bit different, where would I recommend? In Bangkok, for example, well, a lot of you'll know this area, but I like Lat Phrao. Lat Phrao has got everything you need. It's got good shopping, nice parks, schools, hospitals, etc. It's a very vibrant area, but to me, it's just a little less hectic, a little less full on than those classic Sukhumvit areas, which makes it more appealing. I've not actually lived there, but if I were to move back to Bangkok, that would be an area that I would definitely consider. Hat, where is my hat? But not just that, I'd look at the old town as well. Around that area, the areas near the Chao Phraya, I just think it's so much more pleasant, so much more peaceful. The vibe is so much nicer. Now, don't get me wrong, as a foreigner, I do like those comforts that the foreigner areas provide that don't need it. I've been abroad long enough now to adapt, where I realize if you really want something that's only available in a certain area, it's only a short train ride away. You don't need to live next to foreigner supermarket just so you can get your British tea bags in a 5-minute walk. But this thinking outside the box isn't confined to the big city. You can also do it when you travel. For example, I lived in Phuket. Phuket, Krabi, both very accessible to each other, especially if you have a car. But nobody talks about Phang Nga. I don't mean Phang Nga, the islands. I mean Phang Nga province. If you're looking for a real peaceful piece of paradise, then get that airplane down to Phuket airport and drive up. There's nobody there. There's nice resorts, nice hotels, a little bit of development, but nothing like Phuket. You're not going to be bombarded by other foreigners, people selling you stuff, etc. It's going to be a much more quiet, peaceful vibe, just like this. And I know, because this is the internet, there's going to be someone who pops up in the comments like, oh, I know Phang Nga. Yes, I know you know them, person who's watching this video. Thank you for watching, by the way, but I'm talking to the people who don't know them yet, which was me before I moved here. Before I moved to Thailand, I'd traveled there 6 or 7 times. And obviously I knew certain areas of Bangkok, I knew certain areas, touristy areas down south on the islands, etc. But what I'm talking about in this video is a little bit of personal advice for people like myself who've been here a while but fancy something a little bit different, a little bit more peaceful, and I think ultimately a little bit more long term. I absolutely love this area. I was a little bit nervous before we moved here. We're thinking of moving further down the coast towards Rayong. Rayong is another wonderful place, but I've made plenty of videos about Rayong on this channel already. We decided to sort of play it safe in terms of proximity to the city, proximity to the opportunities that are also available to us. If you go, deeper, further away, you have to give up certain things. And so far it's worked out perfect. I mean, look at this place. This infinity pool overlooking the ocean for the same price I was paying in Bangkok for a lovely condo, nice condo, but a 1-bedroom studio where the swimming pool was in the shadow of the building all afternoon. Once the morning was over, your opportunity to enjoy the sun at the swimming pool, that was done too. That's very normal here in Thailand in terms of deciding your budget and deciding within that budget what's important to you. I've said before on this channel, and I stand by this, there'll be people who come out here with a lot more money than me, a hell of a lot more money than me, but I'm in that middle range, middle to low range, you might say, but I think you can find everything you want in this country between 10 and 20,000 baht. Of course, there's hundreds of thousands of rooms that are more expensive than that and lots of options that are cheaper than that. But the reason I use that scale is because I've paid 8,000 baht, 7,000 baht for lovely rooms before, where I can very easily identify why that particular room was 8,000 baht compared to 12,000 baht, usually to do with area and location. Once you get a car, it's a game changer because all that public transport proximity stuff is off the table. It gives you so many more options. But even 20,000 baht, guys, I have seen rooms, 1-bedroom studios, 25,000, maybe in the middle of Asok, in the middle of Tonglaw, in the middle of Rama 9. You're paying for the location just the same as any other city in the world. If you move a little bit further out of the central zone to somewhere like Onnut, to somewhere like Bangkok, even to Samut Prakan. I've done a stint in Samut Prakan and it was lovely. You're going to get the exact same room, if not more, for much, much less. So it's all about deciding what's important to you when you're looking. To me, evidently, nightlife, being in a busy area is not important. What's important to me, what's important to us is having this beautiful, peaceful atmosphere, this wonderful environment, nature. There's a mountain there we can go hike. There's beaches we can walk up and down. There's restaurants. There's a water sports place, which my daughter is far too young to visit, but you might be able to see some jet skis and some parasailing down there. It's just a beautiful place to live. And whilst I wouldn't say living in a condo with an infinity pool overlooking the ocean is my absolute number one priority in life. Of course, if this was significantly out of my price range, I would allocate that money towards something far more important. But if you can get it for the price, why the hell wouldn't you want it? So just some food for thought there, my friends. Just my opinion. Simple, man. The only two things important to me in life are right there. I don't need nightlife. I don't need bars. I like restaurants, but I don't need 50 within 10 minutes walk. I need this peace, and that is what we found here, and I absolutely love it. So good luck with your search too.